Hello, mid-sup. Welcome to the S.H.O.P, the social hub of positivity. We're back in the shop. Hurrah for shops and stuff and hubs, social hubs. Very excited today because I actually literally know nothing about this wonderful guest. And instead of finding out first, we just started to ask a few questions. Thought, no, we'll do it on camera so we can all meet her at the same time, except for the people who already know her. Who will know? Well, that's Rebecca, isn't it? Rebecca Wright, is it? No, Wilson. She wants to say about the name thing. She's a W. What name is this? One of those names. God, there's no point really. Maybe I should just have idiot boards. Rebecca Wilson. Rebecca, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. All the better for meeting you. And if I remember your name, I'll feel better about myself.
It's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah?
You can call me Bex. It's probably easier just to stick there.
It might be. Might be. It might work for me if you don't mind.
No,
cool. Right, Bex. Tell us where you come from because I'm interested because I've just found out.
I'm from the Isle of Wight.
Right. I've never met anyone from the Isle of Wight. There's people out there say, "Oh, I've got the Isle of Wight all the time. I meet them all the time." Never met anyone from the Isle of Wight. What's it like?
It's beautiful.
Oh, good.
It is beautiful. Yeah. I left because there was a big wide world out there that needed to be explored. But, the actual place is just amazing. Like the summer, we spent like most of the time at the beach.
Yeah.
There's woods. It's just the people are different.
Yeah.
I think it's an island mentality.
An island mentality. I was going to say, is it that? Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's very laid back and it's got its own microclimate. So like the weather's. It always seems to be sunny over there whenever I go. So
maybe it's because you bring the sun with you, Bex.
Possibly.
Now, that's lovely. I'm glad to hear that. I'm actually, we work on an island. I'm looking at Lauren because Lauren has actually been there with a school on an island in Croatia, on Hvar, which is, if you've never been.
No, it's on my list.
Is it?
Croatia. I'd love to go.
Right, great. Where were you thinking about going? Let's have this conversation.
I've got no idea. Like where all the waterfalls are. I'm not very
down with.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet, and we want to take the young people there. That is beautiful. But to be fair, the country's pretty unspoiled, and I've travelled from one end of it, not to the right to the other end, because there's an outdoor pursuit centre that we were looking at bringing our young people and working with these other beautiful people from Croatia. But we go and work, so we travel from Split, which is the second sort of city in Croatia, to Hvar, which is Hvar. And it has all those things. I think it's probably the hottest island, has the most sunshine, possibly in the Mediterranean. I'll check that. Maya, who's editing this, is bizarrely from Croatia. She's in the screen. This is Lauren. She's not editing.
Okay.
She's sitting again. How long is this going to be, I wonder? And I'm saying this long. Maybe you can find out the facts about how much sunshine Hvar has. It also is the birthplace of many incredible intellectuals. One of them, it might have been a scientist to do with... What is it to do with now? Because you do nutrition, don't you?
Yes.
Which I'm really interested in. And I don't look like I've been disinterested in nutrition.
Just because
you're a fat, ugly little gal?
No, that wasn't what I was going to say.
You're thinking it then?
No.
Come on now.
No.
Why?
We all have different body shapes and we all have different compositions. So, like, I know there's a nutritional therapist out there and she's quite a large lady, but she's actually got some issues with her body that make her that size.
Yeah, I get you.
So it's not...
Is that sort of a gland thing?
Kind of.
Yeah, I knew someone like that.
It's kind of, I think it's a genetic kind of thing. But she's lovely and she knows her stuff, like.
Yeah. Because it's a strange one, isn't it? People would associate.
Yeah, it's that judgment,
that you should
isn't
look,
it?
It's like a gym. If you go to a gym and the guys looking, the people there look really unfit, you think, any chance to take a bit of your own medicine? Yeah. But there is, with nutrition, it's a very different. There was a head teacher of George Ward in you probably don't know it, but it was in Melksham. Became the new head teacher when we did a sort of 18-month project in this school. And she was nutrition. She was nutrition. She was a nutritionist. So, now we've got from Hvar, an island mentality to... what brought you to the idea of being a nutritionist?
So I had some health issues when I was in my late 20s, mid 20s.
So about a year or two ago.
Oh, that would be lovely. You're my best friend.
Thank you, thank you.
Let me say, so lived in London for a while.
Oh, yeah.
When I left the Isle of Wight.
Wow, you went from the Isle of Wight to London?
Yeah, well, Surrey, so it's outskirts, Greater London, kind of.
Okay, well, you know, if you're going to say London to me, I live there, I've earned my stripes. You have had to have lived in London.
Not actually in, no.
Well,
so
don't be telling
Kingston,
these people.
Kingston, and yeah,
upon
Surrey,
Thames.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Surrey.
I mean, it's Surrey, but I know what you mean. It has got that sort of whatever.
So did a lot of kind of partying hard and things that I shouldn't kind of probably have done, but it made me who I am, and it's part of my journey. Had some health problems with my sinuses and fatigue, and just kind of had to kind of go down the route of trying to figure it out, because the doctors wanted to just keep giving me antibiotics.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, that's great having the antibiotics, but I really want to actually stop the sinus infections happening.
Yeah.
And kind of, because I'm young, I shouldn't have these problems, kind of thing. That is my mentality. It's our bodies are designed not to be full of disease and stuff like that.
But society and processed food and pharmaceuticals are almost in a shared cycle to keep us on well.
Yeah.
Or is that too contentious for words?
There's no money in healthy people.
Funny enough, isn't it? There's no money in intermittent fasting, which we'll get onto in a minute. What do you think about that?
I like it.
Yeah. Do you recommend it as a nutrition?
I do.
Good. Autophagy.
You need to stop. You need to stop putting the stuff in, so your body can do what it needs to do to get it to the state that it needs to be in.
Yeah, cool. So I'm really genuinely interested. Only because this. So recently, a good friend of mine, Jack and John, one called Jack, one called John, who were massively into intermittent fasting, just while we're on the subject mildly, were persuading me to do it. So I started doing it at a great rate. Now you look at me and think, God, you must have been a massive size if you've been doing intermittent fasting and you this thing. I've actually just started a course of hormones for cancer, so I've actually put that bit back on. But actually, when I was doing the thing, it was unbelievable. And contrary to what you might think, and have you done it yourself?
Yes.
I did a 4-day fast once, recently, and the energy I got and the clarity of thought. I've given up caffeine. This is, given up caffeine, given up alcohol, all that sort of good stuff. And it wasn't because of the cancer; it was actually pre the cancer, bizarrely. And it's absolutely amazing. And then, of course, once you start going down that, not rabbit hole, but you start looking into it, you realise exactly what you're saying. Back to you.
Yeah. So I went to see a lady for colonic, and she said, you got to take dairy and gluten out. And I was like, I mean, this is early 2000s, so there was obviously alternative foods out there, but they weren't as vast as we've got today. Yeah. So I was kind of a bit restricted with what I was eating, bearing in mind I was on quite a typical Western diet, so like beige and things like that. Yes. I mean, I grew up, my mum was a chef, so I know how to cook. Yeah. It's sometimes, obviously, living where I was and working and things like that, I didn't have a lot of time sometimes too, so I would eat just rubbish on the go and stuff like that. So it's kind of going back to it.
Can I pause you 1 second? Because we basically got a beautiful workshop happening, and I don't want to interrupt with them talking. Do you think we should move that thing here? So, because it's the, anyone else who's interested, it's the, what's it called in the flow? What's the workshop called? With Jess Way. It's a beautiful, sponsored by Wessex Water. But can you move? No, but just put that right there, just so that we can hear what Rebecca's saying. Because this is the sort of part of the reason why we do. I'm still talking as if the thing's there, but it's not. Yeah. Is it still on? Yeah. Excellent. So we're not going to edit this, because why would we? Well, it's just a thing. But here's the point. What you're saying, when you met Sam Coleman at the networking, said about it, I was like, oh, fantastic. She knew that I'd be really interested. I'm going to be honest with you, I literally want to interview anyone and everyone, because I believe that everyone's got a story, and I don't care what part of life or what background they come from. and trying to do this. We've got bigger cameras and all sorts of different stuff that we could use, but we don't deliberately, so that people out there go, oh yeah, wait a minute, if that Egypt can do it, anyone can. And they should. Yeah. They should take, if they want to put out their thoughts and opinions about all sorts of stuff. But what I've found from doing these, I've learnt a lot. And what you're saying now, I'm really keen for everyone to make sure they hear it. So back to you.
But that's it, isn't it? It's getting people. It's getting that knowledge out there, and getting people to understand that there is more to life in general, and what we only know a very small snippet of what's out there. Yeah. And if you combine all the knowledge that everybody else has got, it's just awesome and quite overwhelming, quite frankly. But
yes, absolutely. So I and that's why this hub works, because there's so many interesting people that come in. Other people might have judgments on what I perceive to be interesting, but I literally find everybody interesting in their own right. Yeah. And it's not like, I wouldn't necessarily recommend them for as a specialist in a certain area. I would just talk about actually the validity and the. Excuse me, I do this a lot, don't I? You notice is it because I take too much air in? I burp a lot when I'm doing these interviews. I think it's when I'm sitting. Maybe you can help me with that, you nutritionist. But I'm fascinated. But let's get back to what you're saying. So you took out dairy, you took out the milk. I took out the milk, I took out the gluten, and then I was looking at what I was lacking. I was eating a lot of vegetables and fruits and things, and I started going online and just looking at the nutrient properties of those vegetables and just the information there about what like a tomato can do, or a strawberry, or just the different things that was in that would help your body in a certain way was it was just fascinating. And then I started following. There's a guy called Russell James. He's a raw food chef, and a lady called Karen Nola, and they were eating pretty much they eat raw food diet, and it's all the time.
Yes, but raw food isn't in a sense it's not raw, so you can go up to 40. I think it's 40 degrees. So you could have like a gently warmed kind of soup if you blitzed up the vegetables and things. Right. But it's just keeping it at a certain level. Yeah. So this is obviously not a non-meat diet. Yes.
Remember, this obviously isn't medical advice we're giving here. This is discussion around interesting topics. Yeah. And you do your own research, people out there. But I'll just clarify that, because people say, I'm going to have some raw pork and we'll see how we get on.
Yeah. Look out for the worms.
Exactly. My God, don't mention the worms. People go, what worms? What do you mean worms? Oh yeah, in most of that food. But carry on, sorry.
So I kind of, they were inspiration to kind of, they were looking well, they were talking about how it kind of energises the body to have those kind of foods in your life. So it kind of then took me off on another little bit, but I wanted to, bearing in mind my mum was a chef, and I worked with her, and I've worked in kitchens. I'm not a trained chef, and I will never ever admit or
profess to be one.
Yeah, that's the word. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all right.
But I love food.
Yeah,
we have to have food. Yeah, it's for social things. It's for fueling our body. So I thought, well, do you know what would be really good to teach workshops? Yeah, and be able to talk about the nutritional properties of these foods that we were doing in this workshops. Yeah. So I thought, well, I need to go and do a course, because for me, I need that validation, and to talk about nutrition with the body. There are so many things that can be like contraindicative with like grapefruit and things like that with certain medications. Yes. So you can teach people about it, but if they've got certain things going on,
it's not a general thing, is it? It's very specific to the person and their condition or their physical or genetic well-being, or
so it's so everybody has a and I didn't know this at the time, but we all have a certain makeup. I think some things would work for me that they wouldn't work for you, and vice versa. And then obviously you've got to throw in the factor of being a woman. I've got like different hormone structure and things like that. So it's
well, we're quite similar now. I've got loads of hormones. Stop it.
So there's so much more to it that I felt that I needed to learn before I could actually do that.
If only politicians would have the same Carry on.
Politics.
Politics, like food, are in everything, but it's just they would prefer us not to screw down too much of it because we'd realise how corrupt and appalling that they are. God, I threw that in again, didn't I? I can't stop myself, Bex.
It's fine.
Because it's all related.
It's fine. I like
school diet, the processed food that we've been taught. Totally. Cool. That's it. So it's very much the whole food.
So I just adjust my tin hat.
No, well, exactly. But the food industry, and on separate farmers from that. I know that you'd say they were the source of making it, but they've been led on a certain path by the people that want the actual food from them. Yeah. And it's there's so much going on kind of that we don't actually recognise and appreciate that actually the natural ways of farming from years ago. 100%, and also most people don't realise just how hard farming is. It's not a hobby. It's 365. I had the good fortune of living on a farm and used to do round here when I was a teenager work on farms just in the summer. But I lived on a farm and would help the farmer with a variety of whatever the whole year. It is so hard and they get so badly treated. No wonder they're up in arms, literally up there in tractors, maybe not so much arms, but they're so undervalued. I'm hoping we get to interview someone recently soon about it, but the whole marketing industry about eggs, about go to work or start the day on an egg or whatever it was, milk, everything, the milk marketing board. There's vested interest in lots of this stuff, and if you look at the emergence and continued upward trend of obesity, there has got to be something quite wrong. And then you look about who those people are that are mostly obese, and that'll be people, myself included, in these things that have come from a background of trying to access more food, and a lot of it, the cheap 2-for-1s or whatever, can sometimes be the worst type of sugar-laden whatever processed food, and we're sold a lie, and it benefits someone else. It doesn't benefit the not purveyor, what is it? Someone who eats food, just the eater. The eater of food. Consumer. Thank you. See, we're swapping words. I like it. Back to you. Carry on.
Forgotten where I am.
Don't ever forget.
You went on this course. I went off. Well, I started. I first went on a course in. I went to Newport and I was learning under a lady, and she was amazing.
She was quite heavy, so you had to get out from under the top there.
She was just. It was just because there's a spiritual element to me as well, and things like that that I like to.
What's that thing about your neck? What is that? I am kind of like an ADHD kid,
kind of.
Right? So you're gonna have to. Sorry.
So this helps with. This protects me from like EMF and like the phones and stuff and just.
You met Claire?
Yes, I know. I met her at the stand in the park.
Right. So do you know? Do you ever talk to her about her stuff?
I did at the park one day.
Yeah. Do you know she's here now?
For ages, yeah.
Right. Okay. I was going to say because that you remind me of it with that. She gave me a lovely thing which I have under my pillow, which has been charged and.
Yeah, because you can get them to go on your phones as well.
Thank you. Cheers. Yeah, sorry, I unfortunately got one of those lines. So I'm like a kid. Ooh, a butterfly.
No.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, you got a spiritual side to what you're doing, and
yeah. So she was. So there's a lady called Barbara Wren, who I went to see her talk, and then she was just amazing. Just the talking about the body in a way that I'd never really understood, kind of thing. So she talked about the cell. So during the day. You have, I think it's potassium and calcium go into the cell, and during the night it was magnesium and the other one. I can't remember the other one, but there's
not potassium.
No,
I'm just saying words. Zinc.
It might be.
Well, it doesn't matter. Everyone research itself, so we'll find.
Barbara
Maybe Maya, you could do it.
She talked about this, and it was fascinating to kind of think about how like it works in, like if you're having trouble sleeping, it's kind of like it might be that you don't have enough magnesium that's going into the cells at night, which is kind of obviously bringing you down into a state of relaxation. kind of thing. So, and that was years ago. There's more information now and stuff about how it all works. But yeah, it was just so like wow, and I couldn't stop taking notes, and I really enjoyed it. So I kind of went on her course, and she worked with traditional Chinese medicine a lot. So looking at the seasons, looking at the elements, and looking at the body and like qi and meridians and things like that. And then there's foods for each season that actually help support those organs and things like that. And it was brilliant. But I was like, everybody wants science. Everybody wants everything to be proved, and it's tricky. Like I've got a friend who's a GP, and I absolutely love her species, but we have such a different opinion about kind of things, how things work, and with the body.
Yeah.
It can be kind of like, so I was training with her. I did her a year, and I could continue on to get my qualification to do another year, but I was like, I need a more science-based and or proper governing body kind of thing.
It covers all bases, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because people do sometimes go, sorry, can I see your qualification?
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's not very often nowadays, but
they do, and I think that's like you said. Some people need that for their own reassurance, and if the personally, you know, I'm one of those people that likes ability over qualification, because I think there's a lot of people with qualifications that haven't got the ability that follows it. So it's an interesting one. I guess it really depends on what you are interacting with that person. If they're brain surgeons, pretty much, your brain surgeon, or the oncologists that are working with me at the moment, who are fantastic, by the way. Big shout out to the Royal United Hospital in Bath and Rowden Surgery. They're absolutely fantastic. Which is, of course...
I mean, my friend's GP, and like she's amazing. It's like the amount of knowledge that's in her head about treating stuff
pharmaceutically.
Yes, it's just like I'm in awe of her in that sense.
Yes.
But it's also I'm a bit like, but there's other things that can kind of help support, and it's not all down to. I mean, if you think about pharmaceuticals, they serve a purpose. They do,
Absolutely.
and I'm not saying
that
at all.
of course, if you've got malaria, malaria, but if you've got something that you need sorted, including cancer, bizarrely, you would possibly look at what they got on offer. But at the same time, on a day-to-day basis, there is a way to self-regulate and medicate yourself with knowledge. And back in the day, I'm sure part of the reason women were getting burnt at the stake is because they were herbalists. I'm being serious.
No.
I always thought that was they're in the woods working out what all these magic mushrooms and everything else does.
But women weren't supposed to write. They weren't supposed to have knowledge. They were. It was. I mean, if you went back years and years and years and years ago, women were actually in a better place.
They were quite rightly so. Where Diana and all those different deities were female. Yeah, and it makes sense if you were to look at the whole idea of creativity and creation. It's where does the child, as a species, where does the child come from? Where's all the really hard work, the really interesting work happen? It happens within the woman. It doesn't happen within the man. No. And the man's, as often I joke about this, the conception part is actually quite an enjoyable interaction for the man. And then you stand back and watch what happens. But you hopefully don't stand back. You get totally involved. But it's within, and I've had this sort of interesting conundrum around why it has been that men or males have subjugated women, and I think that there must be an inbred sort of like, God, all the things we can do, we can't do that.
But is it a fear?
I don't know. It's got to be some reason. Well, look at it. Look at the history of how men have treated women. It's really bizarre. But bizarrely, in any particularly conflicts, and part of the stuff we're doing around some of the research around civil wars, look at the role in any conflict, major conflicts, and there's nothing runs well without women. And also to look at all the unheralded female scientists, professors, researchers. The men put in, they get the awards for gene science and DNA, you name it. Look at it. Got all of the women that actually did the hard work. So what were we saying? We were saying
women rock.
Well, yeah, no, they do, don't they? But without, I don't want people to say. It's a strange. I've mentioned.
We're talking about qualifications and
qualifications and ability. And I guess that I understand that in certain arenas and the way that the world's set up, we have to prove qualification.
Yeah.
And that could be in art and stuff, and say, how does that work then? Because art doesn't really work like that. But yet there's an exam in it and there's a degree in it. It's like, okay, I see what's going on here. But reality, it diverts us from the pure path of the experience and the investigation of what that might be. I think the same thing with pharmaceuticals to a degree, but actually our mental and our physical health. Back to you.
If you look at a lot of pharmaceuticals, they are taken from plants and things like that.
Got to be. They're not taken from. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get that. Of course, they are.
They're synthetic.
Yes, that's the. I guess the problem is the synthesis in there somewhere. There's probably stuff in there that isn't as good as the pure thing or whatever. That people
it's the quickness that people want.
There's the convenience. It's the mass production of it. You can
do a lot with plants and foods and things like that. Where are you
going to get it?
But it takes a lot longer, and that's what people don't want. I want it now.
Do they not want it, or did at a certain point in history people go, do you know what? We can make a lot of money out of this.
Probably.
Do you know what I mean? We make a lot of money out of this, so let's manufacture it. Well, you tell me why the world works like it does, and you tell me how the governments make their decisions about certain. Dare we even go into that recent thing that happened with all the injections and stuff, and people are starting to learn now. I had them, so one of them ones. I'm starting to. There's a lot of downsides to that, but there was a lot of upsides financially for a lot of people. Lots of them involved in all sorts of aspects of that related to MPs. Not good. So
I did my course.
I get it, yeah. Carry on, sorry.
It's fine, don't worry. So I did my course, but so I went on to a proper 3-year diploma in Bristol, and after my first year, I fell pregnant with my first child. So that was a bit of it was planned, but it was a shock, kind of in the sense of I was like, what to do about my study. So I kind of continued for up until I had him, and then I deferred for a year, and then like trying to study with baby brain and having a small child, I thought was going to be easy. Well, that was hilarious.
But see, men don't get that, and I don't think they appreciate it either enough. They physically don't get it. I spent a lot. My older children, I spent a lot of time with them as a musician. So I was my wife was doing really important work in prisons and stuff. So when she went back to work, I was doing that. So I spent that time when you really have to forsake. You have to get to the level of the child, otherwise it ain't happening, it ain't working. If you resist that as a male, today we're going to watch Tottenham, which is cruel for most people. You've got to go there, haven't you? You've got to go, you totally got to let the child consume your being. I used to go to the mothers and toddlers, as you used to call it, in Clapham, etc., and be the only male there, which was interesting, was a massive thing. So I'm kind of really aware of what stages of development males miss out on, and more pity for them. I feel sorry for males. Maybe, I'm going to go to work, I've got to do this. And it's like, our society is calibrated wrong. We've got to find a way that males, and it would help their respective women, and all the different downsides that have happened over the centuries, and more recently with brutalisation of women from all sorts, from police, from all sorts of people. It's like, it's probably born of not really getting it.
No.
And I sound like...
I think it works both ways. Is there's an understanding or a misunderstanding of men from women. It's there's so much emphasis on a man that he has to be a certain way. He has to be strong. He has to be tough. He has to hold the family together. He has to do all this. Well, actually, the shake up that you get from having a baby in the house as well is well, I've got all this pressure on me. I'm the one that's still going out to work while my wife's at home and stuff like that.
Listen, I've done it all. I've done that and I've done the other. I'm telling you, and any male that's out there, going to work, no matter what job you do, is nothing compared to if you want to raise a child properly, it's nothing. There isn't a job that a male can do it's all consuming and so vital, right? For the first 3 years are so important for child development. You cannot just do it on sort of like, oh yeah, I'm just kind of treading water and going through the motions. If you really are invested into the spiritual development and the intellectual development of your child, you kind of have to get down and dirty with child. And the schools, and I don't blame the schools, we work with some fantastic schools. We haven't got the capacity in the schools for one of the most important life lessons that we could possibly have. We're all trained, particularly in state schools, just to be part of the work.
Rat race.
Yeah, to be people that can be employed. When in reality, the first port of call should be humane, empathetic.
Yep.
Human beings that understand the whole idea about child development, not judgmental, but all loving and kind and thing, and eat good food, and I'm not blaming teachers or head teachers. They are putting the most ridiculous restraints. If private schools have 15 kids in a class and that's supposedly the thing, then all schools should have that. I don't think you should be an MP and devote on stuff like education and health and be able to send your children to private schools or private health. If you're going to represent a constituency, you have to know what the masses are experiencing.
But I mean, this all came about in the pandemic, wasn't it? A big fat light was shone on the areas that actually should be supported and looked after.
Yeah. And what happened as soon as it went?
And as soon as we're all back to normal, it's like, well.
Yeah, we were key workers throughout that. And the lengths we went to, because the stuff that we were fed on the news and everything else, you really didn't know what was like to happen, and there was fear, and there was whatever, and we went through all of that with families, with young people, what have you. And I would question, what has the lessons been learned? I would look at our Chippenham council, for instance. What were all those councillors doing? I know what a few of them were doing. What were the workers doing when these things were happening? Were they on the front line? Were they in the trenches, absolutely delivering, or being there to reassure, or being there to guide people through it? I don't know that they were, and that's why policies and politicians and local policies need to be totally rewritten. With all the things that we're talking about in mind. Maybe we should form a party called, come on now, just be nice. Stop it, you. Let's be cuddly. Because if we started it pre-birth and young people in schools were able to learn the true value of interpersonal skills, the nature of empathy, the nature of all, they wouldn't go on to have mental health issues. Well, they'd lessen it. I'm sure there's reasons why people wouldn't. But also, they'd be better parents. So when people say blame the parents, I always say blame the system first.
Yeah.
The system that those children grew up in. You learn from your parents, and then you learn from school, or you learn from society. And if we socialise human beings in the appropriate way, they'll understand that.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, carry on.
No. It's all relevant at the end of the day, because it's nutrition's
key part of it. We all need to eat. Yeah.
But there's all things that feed into that, and that's kind of one of the things that I've done my nutrition training. I then had my boys, because I've finished my course, and 4 weeks later I had my second.
Fair play.
So I'm not quite sure. It was hard. It was really hard.
But it is hard. But you did it, and you still got your qualification.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about, Willis. Yeah, that's amazing.
So then my life was devoted to the boys until we could finance for the boys to go into nursery for 1 day a week.
It says private school. I'm out of this interview.
No, preschool I was thinking, but it's nursery, because you don't get free child care until if you've got benefits, it was 2, and if you didn't have benefits or earn a certain amount, it was 3, which is fair enough, and I get that. So my boys were with me until they were 2.5, 3. My little one, he went in from 1, but only 1 day a week. So I was juggling trying to start my nutrition business whilst running the house with the boys, and also with the knowledge I have about nutrition and health and well-being, bringing my boys to be healthy. My eldest has a dairy allergy, so we have to have no dairy. Well, we didn't have dairy really in the house anyway, apart from me because I love cheese. But he also has he in damp conditions and cold, he gets like a viral wheeze and needs inhalers, and so he was in he used to go into hospital like about November time when it started getting damp and cold. Within like a kind of, he'd be not right in the morning, and then by the afternoon we'd be like going off to A&E with him because he couldn't breathe. So we kind of had that to contend with. So I was always looking at his diet and his nutrition to make sure that obviously we're fed that kids have to have calcium, and like it's got to come from milk. They're not going to grow properly if they don't have their milk and all of this sort of yogurt and things like this. So I was trying to make sure that he got the right sources of calcium into his diet so that he does grow up to be okay and things, as whilst also trying to work on helping his gut and things like that to kind of try and get rid of this dairy allergy, which we haven't, unfortunately, we haven't managed to do yet.
And gut biomes is another thing that we don't spend any amount of time at school learning about, and everything, how to keep them healthy, and how in fact they're as important as your heart and your liver. If not more, it's more important. But this is the thing with the body, and this is what always amazes me, is it's not just one thing does one. It's all interlinked, it's all, like a good society would be. Where everything would work in flow, in unison, and I often say about the idea of acting, but being able to be independent, but understanding the benefit of interdependence. I often say also, you don't, for instance, want to dispose of your own human waste, do you? We're glad that there's a sewer, right? And we're really, I often thank the people that work in waste disposal, both from the household, but also from the sewers. Who wants to do that job? Well, thankfully there are people that do it, and Basil Jett and all those people that invented them back in the day and got rid of cholera to a great degree in our country, enabled us to become a more civilised, in certain ways, society. But without those people, and they often get overlooked, stuff wouldn't work. And it's the same thing with the gut biome and all the different parts, the mental health and whatever.
So there's bone health that the gut's linked to. There's the brain.
There's everything.
It's just, it's just.
Yeah.
But it's so the bacteria that's in our stomach. We've also got the bacteria on our skin. So it's all, and there's bacteria in the air. There's bacteria. It's with all this antibacterial stuff. It's like, actually, don't get me wrong. There is bad bacteria out there, and I'm not dissing that. But it's I think we've gone too clean. And that's kind of half of what our problem is, that the kids don't play in the dirt anymore and things like that, to kind of build that immunity.
Resistance. And we did it naturally. I remember talking about the same thing about organic food. Bless my mother. She said, "Oh, well, Silas." She's smiling in case you wonder where the accent comes from. Why I have to impersonate my mother, I
please carry on. It's good.
I don't get it. Well, it's that organic stuff. What is it? I said, basically, Mum, it's the food that you had when you were a kid back in Ireland. There wasn't pesticides and stuff. They just had naturally grown food, and you ate it. And good God, look at you, you're gorgeous. And you had 10 children. I shan't say which one was the best looking. I shan't say it.
Is it your brother?
Got 4 brothers, bless me. Bless them. And 5 sisters. Imagine that. Mum didn't like arguments.
Wow. So where were we?
So we're basically talking about you.
Oh yes, so the boys. So I was doing all that, but after my second, I struggled a lot with my mental health. Don't know if it was just too much going on and stuff. But it was also quite lonely. So when you have your first baby, there's lots of people around. Everybody comes to see the baby. Everybody kind of like is there and all of this stuff. And then as kind of the next one comes along, people still come, but then not as much. And my mum's on the Isle of Wight, so I didn't have the support of she came when she could. Don't get me wrong. And then my sister's in Swindon, and when I had my second, she was pregnant with her first. So and that was obviously a shock for her system too. So it was kind of I didn't have a lot of people around for support, and I went to the baby groups and things, but like I'm not very good at small talk, so
it's a killer, isn't it? It makes it more inane.
I like interesting conversation, don't get me wrong, but it's talking about like
the feed, whether you sleep, how long you sleep, what their digestion's like.
So got glitter all over the place. It was like, I think I made a comment once like, oh, the fairies had been then they kind of looked at me like, I have experienced it firsthand, unlike a lot of men. I'm not bigging myself up, just circumstance. But I kind of like kids. Come from a big family, got loads of nephew nieces. I was an uncle from the age of 5, so I've always had kids in life and kind of gleaned possibly as much about what not to do with children as I did what to do with children. And have great relationships with my nephews and nieces, majority of them, and there's loads of them. So I kind of do get it. This is what I was saying about when men go out to work and their life. See, my husband was gone 8 till 6 every day for Monday to Friday.
So all the things you're saying are part of the reason that maybe men don't get why it's so hard. But it's also vital. But it needs to be shared. It needs to be recognised. So therefore, it has to come from our state education. Surely, this is really important. That relationships are really important, about how to navigate relationships healthily through all aspects of relationships, and then when you become a parent, and the natural sacred responsibility of both of the people involved. And I know people that have same-sex marriages and have children. They have the same, obviously, value. And I'm not talking about male or female.
No.
Doesn't interest me. People love each other, great. If I don't care if they're male, female, does not interest me. It's just you want the exact same thing. You're raising this child, however you've got that child, fair play to you. The same things still apply. Both people need to understand that when you leave it just to one person, there's the loneliness, there's the mental health pressure. So bless you, I do feel that. No, I'm
being part of my journey.
Okay, I'm part of a man saying I get it, and I want to acknowledge it.
It's nice. It's nice to have that recognition.
It's a killer. It's a real killer.
So I worked a lot more on my diet and my nutrition around that time as well. Started making sure that I was eating clean. Not knowing that actually most of it was kind of coming from the lack of social engagement and sleep deprivation.
God, that'll kill everyone, won't it? That's when your head goes.
It was only, I think, when my little one started actually kind of sleeping in his own bed and staying there and not getting up, and I actually slept through the night. That was kind of like I could really feel the difference in my own body and mental state as to how I could get through each day, kind of thing, without feeling like I just wanted to run out the front door. So
it's quite relevant because my mother, bless her, was adopted, and I think the reason that was she had a twin sister. I met a twin sister. That's probably why. As thing, because I think their mother had postnatal depression. That's the story. We never meet these people that are real parents. And a lot of work we do at Can Do is with children in care. So we try and nurture a relationship with them to, in some way, support working along some amazing professionals in social services and schools and in all sorts of aspects of a child's life, and try where we can to acknowledge that when you are a corporate parent, and we've worked with many, we've been going over 25 years, so we've worked with, on a national scale, I've advised ministers on this, so we've done it at a level. I've been at the Home Office working and talking about community cohesion and this aspect of about if you have a child in care, the very thing that a child needs to have is the knowledge, surely, that hopefully the biological people that had them care enough about them or hear about them that they will do everything in their power to. When that doesn't work for whatever reason, and I've had it firsthand and seen the effects on my mother throughout her life, if that isn't dealt with in a emotionally meaningful way, and that goes through to how you feed, but also about opportunity care. So we do lots of residentials, have done over the years. We've taken children in care to America to stay amongst Native American tribes, talk about resilience and talk about whatever, and watch them. Someone's getting murdered out there with a machine gun. No, it's someone wrapping some art. I think it's the unconditional love aspect that you try and naturally, not, oh, now we're going to pretend that we're unconditionally love you to a child, but that you are significant enough and consistent enough in their lives that you go above and beyond getting them to the dentist. And there's no criticism. We work with some amazing aspects of foster carers. We took a foster carer and a social worker with us to America, so that the children could appreciate those two particularly fantastic women, and that they could also bring it back to county to say, hey, you know what, as a community, particularly in Wiltshire, have been very good about over the years, we need to really up our game about how we include children in care. I would say if you're a good parent, you treat them like you treat your own kids, and we have done over the years, and without funding, sometimes just from our own personal resources, because it's that important. So back to you, you've got your second child, you've done this thing, you're feeling wretched, but at the same time you fought through. What got you through?
I'm determined. Well, to be fair, it's my boys.
Yeah.
They are my life.
Oh, bless you.
And what would they do without me?
Yeah.
It's every dark thought would have been, but I can't leave them. Sorry, it's a bit of a...
No, it's real. It's real, and it's important. It's important. This is kind of it. This is what this is the sorts of conversations we should be having or making room for in school, in every social environment. It goes beyond the kind of, oh yes, but we're legislating for that. But it's like we don't have a youth service in Wiltshire. We don't have it we work up and down the country. There isn't a youth service. Well done, the Conservatives. If that was one of their great ideas around the austerity. Let me think how that worked. It's appalling. If you do not have people in the community at different stages of our child's development, they are going to get lost. They are going to get seduced by the biggest influence, and if that influence happens to be bad, I've worked in prisons. That's why part of the reason I set up Can Do. I've worked in probation. Right, we need to do something about. I think you did the same with diet. It's like, what's the root cause of this illness? Go to the base. Don't you do a baseline assessment and go, wait a minute, we need to change this, and that happens before conception. It happens in the schools so that you grow to be a well-adjusted human being and know your responsibility, whether you're a male or female, and how sacred that is, and how sacred it is being a parent, and also an honour. An honour. And I know we've worked with lots of teenage pregnancies and whatever. We've got some amazing young people we work with. We took the young girls when they were pregnant on residentials, because why wouldn't we? Because they need to have that rest. And when they had their babies, they go, we can still come. Of course you can still come. Because there's time in that time for you to keep growing. You're a young 16, 17-year-old. And also, it takes a village to raise a child, right? The old African saying, right? So therefore, we'll take some time in looking after you, so you can still be a child yourself and go and still do the stuff that we set that we would lay on in these residentials. But
it's also that element to it. Like obviously, you say about teenage pregnancies. I mean, when I had my son, I was 32. and so I had knowledge. I'd never been around children though. He was like,
right.
so it's
been a revolution.
It was a real shock.
Yeah.
Kind of like I obviously knew what to do, kind of, and just kind of got on. You just
shouldn't
get
really
on.
leave that to risk. That you know what I mean, to faith.
But it's
education should be there.
But it's, I mean, well, you kind of know the basics,
yeah,
don't you?
But I'm saying the depth of what we know, and what we pass on, should be so spiritual. That level. I'm not talking about religion here, people. I'm talking about the bits that I hope you're talking about as well. The otherly thing that goes beyond science, goes beyond academics, goes beyond fact almost. It goes into feeling and understanding feeling and emotion and mental health, etc. Sorry, keep interrupting.
No.
I love what we're talking about.
No, because like obviously you talk about that. It's I recognise in my eldest more so that whenever I'm out of sorts, he's out of sorts, and it's that connection as well, kind of thing. It's the same with obviously when they were little, and obviously I was out of sorts. They were possibly played up more because they could feel that something wasn't energetically right within the household. So that it's kind of like
they know,
sure.
don't
So
they?
It's that, and obviously working and managing that as well, and it's getting that knowledge to people that it's there is so much out there that's all linked.
Yeah.
And it's just finding that way and working those pathways out to see what's going on. And that's what I like about nutrition, is you can sit there and I'll sit and have a consultation with somebody, and we'll be talking about, you know, they'll go on a memory of like chocolate when they were a kid, and like something about like a parent coming home or something like that with chocolate from a trip, and that you could feel that love and that real memory of, oh wow, and then you wonder why when you're feeling low you go and gorge on chocolate. It's because that food's connected to that memory.
And sugar is a gateway drug. 100%. And you look at the slave trade, you look at what sugar has done to humanity and what it's involved in, alcohol, all the different aspects of where we all go to get that sucker to go, it's like, right, it's sugar. And it does lead to heroin. I don't give a damn what anyone says. That you get as a child into the idea that there's something out of your body, out of a relationship, that physically can affect how you feel. And you might not know it's the sugar in the thing. It's sugar in bread, carbohydrates, there's sugar in just about everything that we're in processed food, and it's just keep enough there to keep us like Think about running for government. No, I'm serious, because I'm so absolutely, having worked in society for so long, maybe I'll launch it officially.
But you need people with open minds to make the changes, because the people that are in there with the closed minds and they're always wanting to stay in the box, and you've got to conform and things like that. It's not
conformity is good in certain aspects of society. You conform to the laws of the road, potentially, and you conform to the laws of humanity, where you help your fellow human being, and you don't rob, you don't do etc. etc. Great, you don't need a Bible or anything for that. That just makes sense, right? But the way society, and let's just narrow it down to both our country and our community, has been run. Even in the last 25 years, since we're a sustainable development organisation, so we look at all the aspects of it. As I said to you, I've been to the Home Office. They've asked me to come and talk about community cohesion, how the arts and leisure would work in that, and went to a whole. If you're ever really bored, read it. It's called Parallel Lives. Everyone out there, took ages to do with other professionals from all over the country, and we worked with. Doing consultations for ministers around how you consult with children in care. Really big work, but we use the arts to do it, and so we can get in beyond the academic. You get into the emotional. So there's an academic, intellectual, so not academic, an intellectual and an emotional connection to the piece, to the subject. And if it's about children in care or if it's about food. We did it with water in Twerton, Southdown in Twerton. I don't know if you know Bath well, but go to Southdown, and we had a fantastic time there. And we did a whole, with the Environment Agency, we did a whole project about, we're doing one with Wessex Water now, hence you can hear it in the background, that's part of what it is.
Okay.
About people's awareness, about its preservation, about pollution, about all those things. But we turned it into a play that was then shown by the young people to their parents, who then came along because they were engaged, they wanted to see what their children do, and everyone learned.
Yeah.
And I learned as well.
Yeah.
So I'm no expert in anything. People think that I must be an expert at good looks. It's just natural. I can't help it. It just came like this. Heavens to Mercantile. I sound like, what's his name? Where do you do your voodoo? Where are you? How can people get hold of you?
Well,
You seem great.
I'm in Chippenham.
Are you really? Where are you based?
Greenway Gardens. Well, that's where I live.
Right. And do people come to your place?
Yes.
Can you do consultations here?
I can do.
No, we can do. What you? Stop it. I'm being serious. I'm kind of, because I don't know how long this is. I don't care really, but I know that people got short spans of the thing. We could do more of these. Did you want to show us something today?
I didn't quite know how this was going to go.
I think we should do a follow-up. Should we do a follow-up?
We can.
And also, can we work out how people can access you via here? Maybe you could do some workshops.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Brilliant. Because there's so much to unpick with what we're saying.
Yeah.
So I'd like to come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Because I think there's just so much. There's so many layers. Like Claire, there's just so many layers. Like once you start going into one, you go, right. You could talk just about that strand. Hopefully people will find this stimulating, and hopefully they will get in contact. We're going to put your details so they can get in contact with you privately on this. So hopefully, Lauren, you're going to get that. And Maya, please God, you'll put this. Please God, and God's got to do with it. But we'll put your details on. But I want to talk to you about how we can.
Okay.
Because it's such a benefit.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Right. Is there anything else you want to say before we stop? Only because I just think that we've said loads, and I think people are going, it's hard enough listening. You looked at me and going, where am I now? It's like, right, well, that's unfortunately, I can't help that.
No, it's fine. So I think the main take home is with diet and nutrition and things like that, it does take time. But it's a don't think you have to do it all at once. Yeah. It's more about kind of taking those little steps to make life changes. So
if people get a hold of you, how much does it cost? Maybe I'll be upfront about it now, and just what would a normal consultation take, and how long would you normally see us? So
normally I do like a 12-week program.
Right.
Obviously for people who have certain
conditions.
Financial situations, then obviously we can come to some agreement.
Oh,
kind
fair
of thing.
play to you. That's good.
But it can go anything from I think my cheapest 12-week is, I think it's 180.
Yeah.
To depending on if you want tests and things like that, it can go up to 800.
Right. Well, that's what it is, you know, and it's. Can people get referred to you from their GPs?
No. Well, they can. I mean, if the GP says you need to go and see somebody, like they can kind of just find
they
me.
can find
I'm
you.
on
But
Google,
then, but how about the financial assistance?
Yeah. Well, that's more just me being. I think
it's great that you're. I think that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Then and fair play to you, because there is only 24 hours in the day. You're a busy person, as well as being a mother. How old are your children now?
7 and 9.
Wow.
Or almost 10. Yeah.
Wow.
So they're still young enough that I'm still picking them up from school and going to the park after school and.
Yeah. What school do they go to?
Ivy Lane.
Hooray! Ivy Lane. All the schools in Chippenham are great, but my child goes to Ivy Lane too. I've got a child that goes to Ivy Lane. Look at me again, Ed. You mean your granddaughter? No.
I don't judge.
No, you don't have to judge.
Don't judge.
Don't judge. You don't have to judge. It's a great school, isn't it?
It's good that you're still.
Oh my God! I've got another on the way. I've got another on the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maya said it now publicly. I've got another one. We have.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, bless the mother of my first children, who were fantastic. We're all very close. 3 lads, and then I've had a daughter with my wonderful partner from Croatia. Now, I thought we may as well just do that while we're here. That's right, Luka Modric. And people say, is that the only reason you married her? They obviously haven't met her. She's a wonderful person. It's a great school. I feel really assured we go and do some stuff in there ourselves. I love that school.
Yeah.
But, right, okay, so we will come back to this.
Yeah.
So maybe we can do an off-spin of this where we can... Have you got videos of what you do?
Not really. So I'm just finding my feet, really.
Yeah.
It's there's lots of elements to my business that I'm not massively fond of doing. So I'm I'm slowly getting myself structured and
Okay.
So I'm on Instagram and I am.
You should meet Maya, who is the person behind this camera.
Yeah.
Because she does all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah.
She makes videos and what have you, but she's also very into. She makes balms and stuff that people at work have said they've. In no way that other stuff has worked.
Because I do. I'm not an aromatherapist, but I dabble with essential oils as well. Well, it's all
interlinked.
It's all kind of like it's just that once you're on that journey of learning about health and wellness, it kind of I think it always just keeps going.
100%, and everything is interconnected.
Yeah, it's
like human beings being a part of nature, not apart from nature.
Yeah.
You can quote me on that one, but that's the truth, isn't it? That's the truth, people. Right, we're going to leave it there. We're going to come back to it over the time and go and do and find a way. Look out for this.
Yeah.
This is Becky Wilkins. Wilson, I had it right first time. What are you looking at that for?
I'm online as Rebecca Wilson. But
Rebecca Wilson. Let's say
to
who
my
she
friends
is.
and people that
Rebecca Wilson.
know me. I'm
and what's your title?
I'm a nutritional therapist.
Nutritional therapist.
But I'm also an independent Thermomix advisor. There's another string to my bow.
What is that?
It's a kitchen appliance that does it replaces up to 20 kitchen appliances.
Maya's going, what is that? Okay, that's not Maya, that's Lauren. Maya's behind the camera. She'll be going, that sounds amazing. Is it a healthy thing?
So it's got an app that's got over 70,000 recipes. So I'm
healthy recipes.
There's everything. So
we're gonna have to do a whole thing. Can we come and film that? We'll finish this. We'll film that in action.
Yeah.
And if it's as good as what you say, I want people out there to have the knowledge of it.
Yeah.
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 And we'll do the next podcast around that very thing, and about what you about the recipes as well.
Yes.
Basically, it's an excuse for me to get fed by you.
No, it's fine. I did bring you some food.
Did you?
Well, obviously I don't know if you're going to eat it because, like you were saying about obviously the things that's going on with you.
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of intermittently fasting at the moment.
Oh, that's fine then. So you eat like gluten and you eat dairy.
Yeah.
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 I just made you some cheese scones. And
ladies and gentlemen, I definitely will. What the hell?
Well, it might.
Come on, show everyone this. This is
my love potion.
Can you just go and get some glasses? Let's do it on camera.
So it's grapefruit, raspberries, apple. I think that might be it, and some water.
This is made by you?
I made this morning in my Thermomix.
Oh my God, we're going to have to do this right now. And your Thermomix, right?
Yeah.
We have to find out what that is. Come on, let's do it. One for...
It is quite tart because of the grapefruit, so just...
Do them call Lauren? Oh, I see, it's tart, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, isn't it? It just looks like healthy. Shazam, nice one, you, Launcher. Right.
I had mine this morning with my breakfast.
It smells amazing. Maya, you are missing out.
But yeah, I'm trying to get back into my passion with my raw food and supporting.
That's gorgeous.
Thermomix makes... Well, I know you don't drink, and I don't drink actually either, but it makes cocktails as well. It's,
That just tastes beautifully healthy.
Yeah, I went to networking in Malmesbury yesterday, and I took a green one, which was like ginger.
Can I take this home? Give the bottle back next time, right? Because I've got as I say, Maya's pregnant, and she has recently sent to Austria, which for lots of different beautiful organic juices.
Yeah.
She's crazy that way, but it's kind of worth it because they are immense.
Yeah.
That's right in there. While we're here, get the cheese thingies out. Let's do it. Even though I'm fasting, I've got to do it. I'm doing this for you people. I am in a way.
Sorry.
Simple ideas. It's gone from a podcast to lunch. Oh my God! Tell you what,
My car smells like
God,
this.
they smell gorgeous.
Yeah.
I am so, thank you.
You're very welcome. I don't know if anybody wants one out of there.
Tell you what, can we do this? When I finish stuffing my face, we'll cut them up and do a taste test with these people out there.
So yeah, I whipped them up this morning in between scraping out my compost bin and having a quick wash of my hair.
They are light, fluffy, and absolutely gorgeous. I don't even know what to say. You blow my mind. My God, I've gone off my fast. That is amazing. Is this anything to do with your Thermomix?
Yes. Yes.
How much do they cost?
1,279.
£1,279. Maya, use the egg whisk. Right, so basically, you know Claire, she's a wonderful artist and a psychic, I'm going to say psychic doctor, am I right saying that?
Psychic or spiritual, yeah.
Yeah. Who often does our food trials as well in the sort. She's a wonderful member of the team. Can you taste this? Because we've just had this. You know, I think you've met Rebecca, but you definitely have. Ray, will you do me the honour of doing that? Would you? Thank you so much. Can you?
It's quite fluffy.
Isn't it fluffy?
That's really fluffy.
Isn't it fluffy? It's exactly what I said.
Wow.
Yeah. What you said?
Soft.
Soft, isn't it?
Really good.
So light. Listen to me. Those hormones are kicking in big style. I should have more. Oh, girls, stop it. Isn't it gorgeous?
So this is made with a
we'll
type of machine.
Well, I'm going to do it 2 weeks. Oh no, next week. 2 weeks time, we'll do a podcast just about that machine.
Because it's completely different to any scone I've ever tasted.
Right, I said exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said
So
it because
much
it sounded
better.
like I was just saying it. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, however she's made it is.
It's mental, isn't it?
It seems like a miracle almost.
There you go. There you go. That's the truth. Now, let's go in here if we can get these people here. This is Jess Way, who's doing this amazing. She just finished doing the workshop. You've seen her stuff. Could you do me a favour? Could you taste? You're a great cook, aren't you? Can you taste these
brownies?
They're not. No. They're what are they called? They called cheese.
Scones?
Yeah, cheese scones. Yeah, cheese scones. Can you taste them?
Scones.
Cheese scones. Yeah. And you don't mind being on camera. Have you got any allergies?
Oh.
One of
Too
you
late to
guys,
ask
your
it
daughter
then.
will kill me if something happens to you.
I have no allergies for spoons.
What do you think?
Really good.
Describe them. Really good's good. But how would you describe them? Consistency.
I would use this with mortadella.
Right. Mortadella cheese.
No.
No, what?
Ham.
Ham.
Mortadella with pistachio.
Wow, you see, when you got an Italian on board, you're gonna know that's a great idea.
Yeah.
What about the consistency?
It's quite
Light,
light.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Light.
it is quite light.
Good.
It's-
I'm not putting words right. It's light.
And like
Claire
the top
just
was
said
quite
the same thing.
Yeah,
right.
it's quite crispy on the
But
top,
absolutely
quite cheesy.
miracle made. What's
Yeah.
the machine they're made with? Thermomix. This is a machine that Rebecca sells, so we're going to do a promotion on it. But isn't it actually noticeably different consistency?
Can I make the bis? Bis. Bis means eat twice.
Yes, yes, of course, yes,
Thank
of
you.
course you
Back
can.
more.
I should as well. I should as well.
Yeah.
You want
Very
another one?
good. Yeah.
Yeah, have another bit. Go on, I'll give it to the girls as well.
Thank
Dave,
you
you're
very
eating
much.
crisp. No, thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's good luck. No. Can you believe that? That's good luck. Yeah. Because they usually have to because it's so heavy and plaggy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's the end of this podcast, Maya. Thank you, everyone. It's a wrap.